thanks to Nick for agreeing to be last. It's quite an act to follow, no pressure. But I think he's up to the task. Again, I'll keep my introduction shorter. You can go to the LP website and read his complete biography. Nick's been involved with the Libertarian Party since when? 1999? Active in the Libertarian Party, been on the Traditional Bylaws Committee of the National Party, been Vice Chair of the Libertarian Party of Colorado, where he played a key role in recruiting the state's 42 Libertarian candidates in 2014. It's 42, and supported the passage of the historic marijuana legalization initiative in 2012. He's been a criminal defense attorney. He's now an entrepreneur selling used cars in Phoenix or thereabouts, and proud of it. Probably will be back in the law someday, I predict. Are you ready, Nick? Ready.
I want to start by saying thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me. Thank you for taking this time out of your weekend to sit in a room full of libertarians. In the last 16 or so years I've been active with the party, I have felt down sometimes. It's a tough party to be a part of, and we don't always win. But every time I'm in a room with people like you, would be a national convention, a state convention, or just over with other libertarians, I get energized. I come out of it amped up. I come out of it ready to fight for freedom and remembering why it is that I take the time away from my family, away from my business, away from the rest of my life. It's because I care about the rest of the world. I care about the rest of the people in this country. I care about the country that my children will grow up in. And we're expecting our third, actually, this coming month. And so Jonathan asked me to give him a topic, and I wouldn't because I was still figuring it out on the plane on the way from Phoenix. I'm here today to ask you for three things. I'm going to ask for three things, and they're fairly simple. I'm going to ask you to show up, be nice, and win. That's it. Win. That's it. Simple. I want to start with showing up. Tomorrow's the Super Bowl, and everybody on the Patriots and the Seahawks, they all have a job, down from Tom Brady to the lowliest person that deflates the footballs. But I want to ask you, what is the job of a football player? Anyone? Hands. Anyone? Come on. Sell tickets. Matt?
Play football.
Okay. Boomer?
Score points.
Score points.
Come to their man.
What a lot of people think is the job of a football player is to win. And that's a job of a football player. But really, if you take an interior lineman for the Jacksonville Jaguars, if you describe his job as winning, most seasons he's doing a pretty bad job. It's not known for winning. But one of the things that you know about the Jacksonville Jaguars is that for 16 games a year, 16 Sundays or Thursdays or whatever damn day they put it on, Monday night, probably never, he'll show up. He's going to play every game, no matter what, no matter whether or not it's a 42-0 blowout. He's going to play every game. And as a Libertarian Party, what I'm asking you to do is to start by showing up. Does anyone know what the McRib is?
Unfortunately.
It's a piece of pressed pork with some barbecue sauce that McDonald's sells at irregular intervals. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. You never really know. If it comes out, everyone's really excited. Does anyone know what a Big Mac is? It's McDonald's signature sandwich. It's the sandwich that they sell more of than any other sandwich in the world. I know that if I go to any McDonald's in this country any time of year, I can get a Big Mac. I know that a McRib is like a Shamrock Shake. It's like a, it might be there. I don't know. Is it seasonal? Who knows? It's a mystery. The Libertarian Party has been the McRib of politics for too damn long. Will there be a Libertarian on my ballot? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, it depends. Did anyone step up to sign up to get the signatures or pay the filing fee? Did anyone feel like bothering to do it? Did anyone recruit anybody? Might be a Libertarian on my ballot. And there's been a strain of thought in this party that we should just wait until we have a really popular, really great candidate, and we'll put him on the ballot. It's going to be like when McDonald's brings back the McRib, and everyone's going to come streaming in to vote for the Libertarian. The data don't bear that out. That's not really what happens. What happens is people go, wonder what that is. Libertarian sounds like liberal, I don't know. And they don't vote for us. If we show up every election, we're the Big Mac. It's okay to be a Libertarian. Our job as Libertarians, and the job of Libertarian candidates, is not to win the election. It's part of the job. It's what you should be trying to do. But like that football player's job is to provide an entertainment product for the fans of the Jacksonville Jaguars, no matter what, 16 games a year, rain or shine, the job of a Libertarian candidate is to provide a Libertarian option for every Libertarian voter out there, whether they know they're Libertarian yet or not. And to make sure that when they wake up and realize they're Libertarian, there's a Libertarian option for every office on their ballot. Now, I know I'm in California. At least I think I'm in California, I'm pretty sure. And so I know that you guys have this awesome election system called Top 2, which is the new, latest, greatest thing that everyone else is going to start adopting, where you have a primary in June, and only the top 2 people from that primary make it to the general election. You know, kind of like going to a grocery store and they've got juice and soda and seltzer and Snapple and Coke and Pepsi in June, and then you go back in November and you're like, well, I've wanted some juice. And they said, no, Coke and Pepsi. That's all we got, Coke and Pepsi. And you're like, but I wanted juice. I like juice. I bought juice last time I was here in June. And like, no, juice wasn't one of the top 2 options. You know, we only stock the top 2 now. You have to drink Coke or Pepsi. No. The answer is no. We don't have to do that. We need to roll back Top 2 in California. The National Party helped stop Top 2 from being adopted in Oregon the second time they tried it. We're precisely that argument. Apparently it's effective. And so what a lot of people in California have told me is, why would we run for office if we know that we're not going to make it past June? If we know we're not going to be there in November, if we know that we can't win. And that's where I would remind you that that's not the only job of a candidate. The job of the candidate is to present a Libertarian option for the Libertarian voter, or for the voter who doesn't know they're Libertarian yet. And if you look at that as your job, I have good news for Californians. You have an easier job than the Libertarians in every other state in this country. Do you know why? Because you get to run a shorter election. You're done by June! It's awesome! And then you can go and you can run in a nonpartisan election for a local office that you can win, to put yourself in a position to win the next partisan election, and to start winning and to stop beating the Jacksonville Jaguars. But the first step is showing up. And so the National Party has adopted a goal of having 1,000 candidates across the country in 2016. And I would be happy if some of those candidates were from California. It would make me happy. Now, you guys have different ballot access rules here. They're not super easy. They've switched up that whole petition filing fee thing. But I did the math on the plane, because it's not really hard math and even a lawyer can do it. For the top office in the state of California, governor, the filing fee is 2% of the annual salary, which by my lawyer math is $3,500. And I would submit to you that if you're going to run for a statewide office in the great state of California, that you can raise $3,500. I would bet on that. I'd bet $3,500 on it. So I challenge you to get together, to find those people who are ready to step up to provide that option for their fellow libertarians and support them. The people in this room could put a gubernatorial candidate on the ballot in California in 26, is it 16? It's not 16, is it? 16? No. Right, 18. The people in this room could put that person on the ballot. There are 35 people in this room who could all pull out $100 and it's done. Not a single signature is filed. Done. So do it. Now, we're trying to roll back top 2. And I think that there's some opportunities for that. But the other thing you want to know about top 2, and I'll get off of it because it's not my favorite topic. The Washington State Party has done something different. What they've identified is that one of the effects of top 2, which is not the hype that it was supposed to do, is that you often have these lopsided races where people run unopposed. Because why would any old party candidate, you know, who's a Democrat in Orange County even put anyone up? I mean, that's stupid. They're not going to win because they still think the only job is winning. In Washington State, they actually had, I believe, 14. I think it's about 14 candidates actually make it through to the general election ballot. Not because Washington State Libertarians are better than California Libertarians, but because they strategically picked races where they knew that an old party wasn't going to show up. Literally, the old parties are stopping showing up in some states. In Maryland, there isn't really much of a Republican Party. In Texas, there's not much of a Democrat Party. We can be that second party around this country, and I hope that we do. So I said, show up. That's step 1. Be nice. Be nice is good. Dr. Lieberman from California actually called to our attention an article by Sheldon Richmond in Reason, where he harkened back to a speech that Nathaniel Brandon gave in 1979 at a Libertarian Party convention, which I missed because I was being born. But it, oddly, you know, history doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. The thing he was talking about was libertarians as self-congratulators. Like, are we really in this to change the world and make a better world for our children? Or are we in this to make us feel really good about ourselves, about how smart and awesome we are, and how we're really, 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 really right, and everyone else is really, 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 really wrong? And that theme keeps coming up in things I read and hear from libertarians around the country. You know, Michael Cloud talks about it as macho flash, where you go up and you find the one thing that the one person that isn't a libertarian yet disagrees with you on, and you go up and you get right in his face and you say, you know what, you're a statist jerk because you don't believe in gun rights. And then they never become a libertarian because you're a jerk. We have to keep coming back around to this because it's so important and because it's so easy to fall into that trap. And it's a trap you need to get out of. This is the only political party that is 100% committed to individual freedom. 100%. Old parties make you choose which freedoms are important to you. Is it guns? Well, then that's probably the Republicans. Is it, you know, gay marriage? That's probably the Democrats. Is it marijuana? Well, that's pretty much neither of them, but that's another story. The Libertarian Party is the only one that believes in all of your freedoms all of the time. All of your freedoms all of the time. We're the only party that believes in the individual, that the individual is paramount. And yet we are the party that falls into the most awful, mean-spirited, collectivist thinking as soon as we start arguing libertarianism. Because we are all individuals in this room because we're libertarians. But as soon as you talk to somebody that doesn't agree, as soon as you talk to somebody that says, you know, government schools are actually a pretty good deal, or I really just don't think people should have guns. I don't like them, I don't think we should have them. That's not an individual you're talking to anymore. That's a statist. That's a member of the sheeple. That's, you know, a tyrant. That's a label that you put on somebody and you stop treating them like people. And so I'm not asking you to agree with everybody else. I'm not asking you to say, well, you know, they're probably right about the gun thing, or they're probably right about the government school thing. I'm asking you to try and see them as people. I'm asking you to go out of your way to find good things about the people that you meet who aren't libertarians yet. To find places you agree with them. Now, Jonathan alluded to it. I left the practice of law to be the third generation in our family business selling cars. And it's an honorable profession. You know, I try to find something more prestigious than law, and used cars was as good as I could find. There's an old saying in sales that if you've got somebody who's looking at a car and they have two things that they think are really important, they need a V8 engine and they need a manual transmission. If you sit around showing them the spoiler and talking about the paint color and talking about, you know, the air conditioning and the mirror to check your makeup, you won't sell them that car. Take yes for an answer. Find the points of agreement with other people who aren't libertarians yet and take yes for an answer and say, we agree on this. Can we work together on this? Cannabis reform is a great example. In Colorado, no old party would get behind legalizing marijuana. None of them. The Republicans wouldn't do it, the Democrats wouldn't do it. The only political party in the state of Colorado that endorsed the legalization of marijuana, an initiative which passed with more votes than the president got, was the Libertarian Party of Colorado. And I'll tell you, we didn't agree with that coalition on a whole lot other than that people shouldn't be put in cages for what they put into their bodies. We didn't agree on the excise tax, we didn't agree on the plant limit, we didn't agree on the creation of another government body, but what we agreed on was no one should live in a cage put there by the state because of what they put into their own body. And that was more important, that area of agreement was more important than all the other things that we didn't agree on. And I'm asking you, as you leave here, hopefully energized and amped up, being in a room with all these libertarians, that you take that philosophy with you as you go out and try to find the points that you agree with other people on and try to work together, because the goal of the Libertarian Party is liberty in our lifetime. The goal is to create a world that we want our children and our grandchildren to grow up in. That's the goal. And that goal cannot be met by just sitting in a room with each other, talking to ourselves about how awesome we are, in spite of the fact that we are all pretty damn awesome. Win. So, the Stoic philosopher Epictetus had a saying that everything in life has two handles. There's the handle by which it can be born, and the handle by which it cannot be born. And it goes without saying that it's important to pick things up by the handle by which they can be born. The reason we get negative is we pick things up by the wrong handle. We pick up the handle of running for office by the handle of, I got 5% of the vote at the end of the day. And that was about 45% too little. And I'm a loser. That's not a handle by which it can be born. No one can keep saying that to themselves year in and year out and keep standing up and fighting for liberty. So what I'm going to tell you is, there's another handle. Pick it up by that handle. Every time our vote percentages go up, it means there are more people out there who are not libertarians, who are switching, who are deciding that they're done with Coke and Pepsi and they want water, and we're providing the water. There is a wasted vote. Judge Gray was right, there's a wasted vote, but he's wrong about what it means. The wasted vote is when a libertarian voter goes into a ballot booth, where they're sitting at home at their desk with their mail ballot, and they're like, I'm done. I'm done with Republicans. I'm done with Democrats. They've never done anything good for me. I'm voting Libertarian this time. I'm done being politically abused. and they go down to their ballot, and there's no Libertarian box. That's the wasted vote. Because that voter wants to vote Libertarian. That voter wants to vote Libertarian. And it is our duty as a party to make sure that that voter can vote Libertarian in every race possible. And to know at the end of that race that what you did was you provided a choice to your fellow Americans, to your fellow Californians, to your fellow Los Angelinos. You provided a choice where they didn't have to vote for the lesser of two evils. They could stop voting for evil, and they could start voting for freedom. And that is a handle by which it can be born. And that is a handle by which you can pick up that cup, election in and election out until we win.
Win.
There's another saying, and this comes back to winning, but it comes back more to being nice. My sister-in-law got me a great book so far. It's a biography of the Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson, the former Chabad Lubavitch Rebbe, the last one because they haven't replaced him. And there's a quote in there at the front of one of the chapters by Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs from the UK. Good leaders create followers. Great leaders create leaders. We as a party and as a movement are too small to have leaders that only create followers. We need to create leaders. Your mission when you leave this place is to go out and replace yourselves as activists, as leaders, as county chairs, as state chairs, as state vice chairs, as whatever position you have in the party, or as just, you know, the guy who goes at events and talks to people and says, hello, how are you? Your job is to go out and duplicate yourself again, because that's what this movement needs. It needs leaders. It needs people willing to step up and make the party younger, more diverse, more vibrant, more colorful. It needs those leaders, and you need to find them. But it's not enough to find them. You have to remember that in this party we have two options with our young leaders, with the new people, with the people who aren't entirely libertarian yet, but they seem interested. We can build them up, we can cultivate them, we can support them, we can give them a chance, and we can give them encouragement to develop into strong leaders, building up our young. Or there's option B, we can eat them. Option B has been very popular in the Libertarian Party for a very long time. We have been known for playing no true Scotsman, for running around going, I'm more libertarian than you, I've scored 100 on the quiz, and you're only a 95. Status. Oh, you love our position on trying to educate our young people and making sure that women have the right to have birth in the way that they want, but you don't want us to have guns. Out. Go back to the Democrats. Status. We need to stop doing that. I was telling Jonathan over breakfast, it is a lot easier for me to take a nice person and teach them to be a better libertarian than for me to take a libertarian and teach them to be nice. And we have an incredible opportunity in this country. There is an entire younger generation of people who are done with the old parties. They're done. They hold broadly libertarian views on most things. But above all, the most important thing to them is that you be nice. The reason that the Republican Party is gut-shot and dying, even though they don't know it yet, it comes down to gay marriage. But it's not gay marriage as an issue. It's that bigotry against people because of who they love is icky. It's mean. And no matter how much they agree that they want to keep more of their paycheck, or they want to have a gun to protect themselves, or they want to have school choice, they will not be part of a party that's mean. They will not. No one wants to be part of a party that's mean. So be nice, and we'll get bigger. And the old parties will wither and die, and we'll live in a free society together. And new leaders will spring up. And this country will be what it should be. A land of liberty and opportunity. A land where we can lead. Now, I want to talk about other ways to win, because I know it's not satisfying to people to just say, well, I'm going to run to give people the option. There are other people who want to actually win, like results win. Cannabis reform is huge. It's huge. The old parties cannot support it. They cannot. They cannot move fast enough. They are too beholden either to the police unions, in the case of some of the parties, or the therapeutic state, or just old people. They just can't move. And the entire U.S. population has moved to be with us on this issue of not putting people in cages, and the old parties are stuck over here and they can't move. And this is our opportunity to steal a march on them. And there should be no question that in every state that there is a marijuana legalization initiative, no matter how good or how bad, that the Libertarian Party of that state should be fully in support of it, should be running out in front with a banner. There's an old saying in politics, if you see a parade, get out in front, and you're leading it. That should be the Libertarian Party, and we should beat them over the head every chance we get and say, look, we care about the people. We care about not locking up our entire younger generation. We care about overcriminalization and prison overcrowding and the new Jim Crow, and these other parties don't. We're nice, they're not. You decide. Immigration reform. We are historically, as a party, pro-freedom. We are for the immigration of peaceful people into this country, and the old parties are not and cannot, either because they are beholden to bigots or because they are beholden to labor unions. So you choose what?
Same thing.
Same thing. You choose which party is which. Neither of them can touch the issue. I feel that the Libertarian Party can get out in front of this. And I think that the best way to explain this in a way that's clear and simple to people is, shall issue concealed carry permits. Does everyone know what concealed carry permits are? I know it's California. There are these things that we have in other states. But the shall issue movement changed the fundamental rule about how you get a concealed carry permit. It's not you have to go to the sheriff and give him a good reason why you should have a gun. It's you have to go fill out a form, say, I don't have a felony, I'm not mentally ill, I'm not currently under indictment, give me a concealed carry permit. And it's on the state to prove why you shouldn't get it. I believe that the clearest way to explain immigration policy, a libertarian immigration policy, shall issue entry visas. If you show up at the border and fill out a form with your name, and you're not a violent criminal, and you're not carrying a currently contagious, really bad disease, you get into the country for filling out a form, and it's on the government to prove why you shouldn't be allowed in the country. And as soon as you get any flack from any sort of Republicans about that, you say, look, it worked for concealed carry, come on. Shall issue, it's the way to go. Education is huge because we're actually willing to do something about it, and the old parties aren't. They'll nibble around the edges. When was the last time that abolishing the Department of Education was actually in the Republican platform? Does anyone remember? It's a long time ago. A long time ago. The freedom for the recognition of the right of a woman to give birth how and where she chooses is huge. And I personally have a commitment to it. Both of my children were born in birth centers. Well, no. Both of my children were going to be born in birth centers. One of them was born in a hospital, but that's a story. And the third one will likely be born in a birth center too. And we've considered home birth, and we make our own choices. And that's the libertarian way. It's not about, you don't need freedom to make the choices the government approves of. I mean, you don't need freedom for that. The government is happy to let you make choices they approve of. You need freedom to be able to do stupid things. And what a lot of people say is having birth by yourself at home is stupid. And I'm inclined to agree with that. But as a libertarian, I believe it's your right to be stupid. It's not my business what you do with your life. You pursue happiness how you want to, you let me pursue it how I want to, and we're all happy. You know, one of the things that we need to recognize is that we're a powerful, powerful party. And this is something I learned when I was a public defender. And the cases that were the most liberating, the most freeing to me as a lawyer, were the ones where the facts were against my client. There was no plea offer other than, you know, plead guilty, stipulate to the maximum sentence. There's nothing more powerful than being cornered with no downside. I could engage in sport litigation, I could subpoena everybody and their brother, I could drag trials out for weeks and just cause the maximum amount of pain to my opponent until it got something good for my client. As libertarians, that's what we can do in the political realm. There is no downside in the Libertarian Party. What are they going to do? Make us a minor party? What are they going to do? Make us lose an election? There's no downside. So get creative. Get out there and use your freedom. Use the fact that you have been cornered and you care about the liberty of your children and your grandchildren, and you're willing to use any means necessary to fight for that freedom. I want to close with a quote from one of my favorite political philosophers, Malcolm X. I just don't believe that when people are being unjustly oppressed, that they should let someone else set rules for them by which they can come out from their oppression. We will not win if we play by their rules, so go out there, stop playing by their rules, show up, be nice, and win.